Hi, I'm Jason Page, and welcome to Hartford Colonials Kickoff for Week 6 in the UFL. We come to you from the Crown Plaza Cromwell this week in the Nutmeg Room, one of the many meeting sites for the Hartford Colonials as they prepare for games week in and week out. We'll chat with head coach and general manager Chris Palmer. How do you keep the team's morale up after 3 straight difficult losses? Franz Joseph, the defensive captain of this Colonials team. We'll sit down with him, have a chat, get to know him a little bit. One of the freer spirits on this team. How's he keep him loose on the sideline? We'll talk about it. All that and much more coming up this week on Hartford Colonials Kickoff.
You stop!
Hartford Colonials Kickoff continues, joined by the head coach, Chris Palmer. Coach, another game where this team's got a fourth quarter lead that's 3 in a row, and another game where the outcome is obviously not what you had intended. What seems to be the common denominator in all of this?
Well, turnovers are the number one factor, and the other factor is penalties in some of the other games. We've been very competitive with everyone in the league so far, but when it comes time to close the deal, we haven't closed the deal.
Frustration right now. Try and give me inside the mindset of this team in terms of where they're at.
It's hard to say. You have to have resilience in football. I mean, there's times where, you have an ugly win and you win a game you shouldn't win, and then there's times where you lose games that you shouldn't lose. And we're at a stage where we're losing games we shouldn't lose. I feel as though we match up statistically. We're the same as other teams that we play, and for some reason or another, we're just not closing the deal.
I mean, is it bye weeks? I'm trying to get inside your head. I'm trying to get a pinpoint on where you think this is all stemming from.
No, I don't think so. I mean, we needed the bye week. We had a couple injuries that we needed to get healed up and get us back playing. I think when your quarterbacks and your receivers are in a timing, in a good situation on how they're throwing the ball, then I think you leave and now you come back. How quickly can you get it? One of the big things is we're not making the big plays down the field that we have in the past.
Josh McCown, you look at his effort the first couple of games, then you have a bye. Do you try and figure out, where is the breakdown in his game coming from? What do you notice first 2 games from the last 2 games?
I think it's vision. I think he's throwing the ball well. He made some good plays in the course of the game. He did some good things. The drive before half where he put the ball in a hole to Carter, that was an excellent play. Picking up the ball and hitting White on a curl on the sideline there was a good play. But we have some bad plays in there that we have to eliminate.
A few big injuries here. Headed out to Las Vegas. You lose Asap Schwab for the year. He has a hyperextended knee. How do you keep the morale of this team up? Is that an issue right now, considering everything that's going on here?
I think the morale is good. We have 3 players we had to put on IR this week, which is, that's never pleasant. We have some players coming in. We're waiting for them to pass their physicals and get on the field with us. But it's also a situation where these guys can't afford to have a bad game. They're playing for their next opportunity, and hopefully we'll start to gel and start to play good football, not turn the ball over, not have penalties, and then I think we'll be fine.
All right, let's focus on one of the positives. Lorenzo Booker right now looks like a star. Has he established himself as really the back on this team when you consider the way he's playing? And basically every time he gets his hand on the ball, something great's going to happen.
No, he's an excellent player. He's a guy that has come in. He has reestablished himself as a guy that can play at this level and play at the next level. The NFL teams, with 4 weeks to go in the season or a month to go, they're going to be combing through this league, looking for players to bring up. You watch the games on Sunday, they had a bunch of injuries, a bunch of concussions. So I think people are going to be shocked at how many players from this league are in the NFL for the final month of the season.
You look at Book, he's not a big guy. but every time he seems to find whatever hole is there, he could turn a 3 or a 4 yarder into a 7 or an 8 yarder. Talk about it.
He's a true football player, and he enjoys playing the game. You know, he's always got a smile on his face. You know, I think a year being away from football makes you say, hey, I want to go back and have some fun. And, you know, at Florida State, you know, they had Dunn, who was a quick running back like Book, and Book is like him. So there's definitely a spot in the NFL for a guy like that.
Going on the road, taking on Las Vegas, you lose a couple at home. Can that road trip, you know, togetherness, everybody having to be together that entire time, could that be kind of the magic elixir, gets this team going in the right direction again?
You never know. You know, it's a situation where you want guys to play and do the things that they're capable of doing. And if we take care of business, where we take and don't fumble the ball, we don't have penalties, then I think we'll be in great shape.
You get a wounded Las Vegas team now. Tim Rattay, their starting quarterback, done for the year. They're going to obviously be working with a couple of backup quarterbacks. If there was ever a time to pick off the top team in the league, you'd have to think this is it.
You know, Jim Fossil is a quarterback guru. You know, we worked out Willie from the University of Buffalo when I was with the Giants. He's a good player. They have 3 quarterbacks on their roster right now. The guy from Rice I looked at a little bit, didn't do a lot of work on him. You know, I was kind of surprised they didn't bring Losman back. But you know, I'm sure that Jim feels comfortable with the quarterbacks that they have. They probably will run the ball a little bit more. But they've got a good defensive team, and they can run the ball pretty well.
Coach, best of luck.
Thank you.
One of the many missions of the Hartford Colonials is getting out into the community. One of the great institutions in the state when it comes to taking care of children is the Connecticut Children's Medical Center. This week, with some of their downtime, the Hartford Colonials decided to visit CCMC. They wanted to lift the spirits of some of the children from the community that were there. Let's check it out.
Can't wait to see these kids, man. Hey. Kids.
We are currently having a visit from the Hartford Colonials, who came to see the kids at Connecticut Children's Medical Center today. So they're going room to room just to say hi and bring a little smile to some of the kids' faces.
How you doing, bud?
How you doing? What's your name?
Amber.
Amber?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Amber.
Nice to meet you too. Wow, you're tall.
On this floor, we see a lot of kids who are in frequently, so it kind of gets really boring and they get a little sad and a little angry at times. So to have people from the community come in to visit, it means a lot to them, that people are thinking about them and wishing them well.
My name's Franz. Nice to meet you.
Right over at me. 1, 2, 3. Good job. One more. Nice smile for the picture.
Oh my God.
There you go. Now you're Colonial for life.
It's always good to get back and, you know, being able to do things in the community. We definitely want to reach out, you know, visit families and, you know, let people know that the Colonials are definitely involved in, you know, everything that's going around Hartford, in the hospitals and with the schools.
You got to do SpongeBob? Go ahead. No. It's pretty good. That's SpongeBob right there.
Oh, it's very important to get back at it. I love it. You know, just being on the field and being work all the time, just coming off the field and showing love to the community and having fun with that, it's very special.
What's your name? Jermaine? Come on out here and meet my homeboy. Hey, look, Jimmy Starks. Jimmy Starks right here. What's going on, man?
Let me use that hat, man. Nice little crispy fitted right there, right?
I like that.
Clean with it.
Good. Good?
How you doing, boss?
I got something special, though. I got something real special. When's your birthday? July 22nd? All right, so that's 7/22. It's a little watch right here. Every time it says 7/22, Whether in the morning or in the evening, you say a prayer and ask the Lord to give you strength. I promise you, whatever you ask for come true. My man, Jay Starks, right there. 722, remember.
Let's meet Jai Bond. Who's Jai Bond? Well, he's a punter for this Hartford Colonials team from Australia. What are some of the differences between Australian rules football and American football? Has the game here in America matched Jai's expectations? We chatted with him outside Connecticut Children's Medical Center. Let's take a look.
Basically, I played Australian rules football my whole life. You know, just like a kid over here. I started when I was probably 6 years old. Played right through all the development leagues in Australia, the same as basically over here what kids do. And then I played professional football in Australia and, you know, finished that, and now I'm over here playing professional football over here. Totally different sport. So I'm a long way from home up here in Hartford, Connecticut, but I'm really enjoying it and it's a great opportunity.
Very good.
I played my first ever American football game with the Colonials, so I'm 4 games into it. It's going really good. I'm having a great time. It's a different sport, so the way I interact with the guys is different because I'm not on the field for the whole game like I am in Australian rules. So I come on and kick and then go off. So that's sort of taken me a little bit to get used to. As a lot of times when I first came over, I'd be talking to the guys, especially my roommate, and they'd sort of just give me a blank stare. And I'd be like, what, you don't understand what I'm saying? But I remember one time in training camp, you know, there's a little bit of a difference between Australian rules and rugby. And Coach O'Day, the special teams coach, told me to Aussie rules or rugby kick it. And I didn't quite get it, so I got the snap and took off running down the field. Everyone's like, what are you doing?
As a rookie, he's really done a good job thus far.
I mean, before when you said how important these guys are, I mean, for me, it's a lot more important because having never played a game before, I'm always out there, you know, running onto the field. Like early on, I was like, Taylor, what's going on here? What's going on here?
He's learned in a hurry. He's learned a lot of things in a hurry. I can't imagine going and playing a different sport and not knowing what's going on.
We're sitting over here, and Jai's punting from here, and he's putting them over the fence. And I tried to walk up to him and tell him, like, Jai, I've never seen a punter ever kick it that far over there. And he just, you know, he thinks I'm screwing around with him. He doesn't believe me, but when he kicks the ball right and he does his technique right, it's gone.
Jai, what would happen if these guys played a game of Australian rules football?
I think Jared would be okay. Jared's big and strong. Taylor, you know,
lay somebody out.
Yeah, he'd go all right.
I'd be all right. You see these pipes right here? The Army Club, they want their cannons back.
I'm sure Taylor, he can kick all right, but you'd be all right.
Yeah, you know,
you'd be all right.
You'd be all right.
Or is there something about America that you like, that, you know, whether it's like food, or is there a TV show that you're hooked on? Or...
they're Jersey Shore.
On that note,
Taylor and I, we sit up and watch the Jersey Shore on a Thursday. Is it the finale? Awesome. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I think when I first got here, I think I went to every takeaway place there was. But I like Chili's. Chili's is good, and Applebee's is good too. As a punter, you're not always out there just kicking. It's very important. I work as the holder for our little kicker Taylor here, so Jared and I normally work on the snapping and holding a fair bit at practice too. Basically all I do is crouch down like this, get the spot. Taylor will look at that, he'll go to his lineup. I'll look around at Jared. Set! Set! The team atmosphere is good. I mean, we've got a great culture here. I think we're going to be very successful. I mean, we haven't done well the last couple of games, but you know, I think we've got the right team and the right mix to be successful. For me, it's just to be the best I can be, and I've set myself a task to be a good punter and play well for the Colonials. And I guess if I can do my best and really, you know, achieve something for me, then yeah, I guess I can, you know, go to the next level. But at the moment, I'm just focusing on doing well here.
Hartford Colonials Kickoff continues, joined by linebacker Franz Joseph, one of the captains on this team. Franz, welcome to the show. All right, talk a little bit about what goes on from a defensive standpoint inside the huddle. There's 2 minutes left in a game. The team has been out there, defensive team has been out there for half the game. You need a big stop. Try and give me an idea of what goes on inside the huddle at that point in a game.
Well, Jason, that's easy. We just come together as a defense, and we think about the times we had during summer camp, some of those hard sweat practices where we had to really pull it together, and the only way we would get through if we came together as a defense. So just to simulate that to a situation in the game where we need to come together, and there's 2 minutes left. So we just think back, reflect to those memories, and just kind of come close as a defense to get the job done.
Talk about bye weeks. We know the impact on the offense it could have, and we've seen it with this team. What about the impact on the defense?
I think a bye week for a defense is definitely an advantage, in my opinion. The reason why I say that is because, one, you have more time to prepare for your opponent, and obviously, two, you have time to rest if you have any nicks and bruises for any injuries. So I think it's really an advantage for the defense.
Who's the guy on this team? Tense moment, late in a game, everybody's uptight. Who's the guy that's going to keep this team loose?
I mean, there's a reason why you're named the captain. You have to lead in certain situations when leadership is needed. So a situation like that on the sideline, everybody's tense. I say I'm the guy to step up and say something's needed to be said.
Give me an example. Give me an example of how you keep guys loose.
Well, easy. Like, it's kind of a way we get hyped. You're like, let's go, D. Like, we still in here. We here all day. Like, you just gotta say things just to keep them going, keep them in their mind, know that we're still in this game, and all we got to do is stay together and just keep playing every play like it's the last play.
Defensive guys, offensive guys. Do you talk at all during the game?
We definitely talk to each other during the game, especially when a great plays happen or when the bad plays happen. For example, if somebody scores a touchdown, we always go over to the offense, commend them, congratulate them for a great job they've done. And if they turn the ball over, we also go over to them too and tell them not to worry about it. We're going to have their back, and that's what the team's for.
I always talk about this on the radio broadcasts with my analyst, Rob Lone, who's a former defensive guy. You guys are on the field, you come off, offense makes a mistake, you got to come right back out, sometimes deal with a short field. How do you keep from getting frustrated in those spots?
Well, to begin with, as a defensive player, you have to set your mind for things like that. You have to prepare your mind and just know that if things like that do happen, you have to be ready. So you're kind of putting yourself in a position to expect it. So when it does happen, turnover on the 1 yard line, turnover on the 20 yard line, defense just go. Because that's what we get paid to do, and that's our job, to stop players no matter where you're at on the field. Nobody ever drew the script for a team to go 100 yards every time. So,
as a defensive guy in this league, somebody who's played professional football for a couple of years now, when you look at the rest of the talent around this league now, 5-6 games into the season, what impresses you most?
There's a lot of talent around this league, but I think the quarterback play for number one has been better than it has been in the past in the UFL. And number two, I'd say the physicality of up front on the offensive line and defensive line, stuff like that. You wouldn't expect it to be as high level as the NFL, but at the end of the day, the guys are just as powerful, just as quick, and just as big, so the pounding is the same.
Franz, always appreciate the time.
Thanks, Jason. Anytime. It's a pleasure.
What you making?
Big house in my house.
Your house?
Is
it in a house?
Yeah.
Can I help you make a house?
Yeah.
Trinity is 3.5, and so she kind of comes to see us periodically, and is just a sweet little girl and loves to play. So I'm glad she was able to engage the guys in some block building today. Zach's been here for a little bit this time, so and he's been feeling kind of down, and his medicine's kind of making him feel kind of crummy. So he, got a nice little surprise visit from the guys and wrote out a few tickets.
Tell him not to walk in your room unannounced, Zach. I got a ticket. Look, Zach. Colonial.
Give you your Colonial bag.
Can I put it on you? All right. Oh, don't give me a ticket. There you go.
There you go, man.
All right, Zach.
Take it easy.
Have a good day. I came in there, he said that, I wasn't taking care of business, so He said, first it was $1,000, and then he boosted up $10,000 ticket. You see this, Coach Palmer? You're going to have to pay for this right here. In his mouth. There you go.
Kids need more than medicine to get well, and a visit from the Colonials is just that perfect little thing that we need to do to help the kids get through their day.
If you can come here and put a smile on somebody's face here in the hospital, you know, that's priceless.
What's up? Can you sign my bag for me? On the bag, I got autographs of all some of these children in here who going through things that a lot harder than playing football, you know? But like seeing that young man, I really feel him, you know? God bless all these kids, and I'm keeping this bag, and it's gonna be something for me to look at and my teammates to remind you, go hard, because any play can be your last play. And when you get down on yourself and you like, man, it ain't going well, now I'm in this hospital, I'm looking at these kids, they done signed my bag, there's no way I'm getting up without a smile on my face. Win, lose, or draw, you know? That's how I feel about all this. That's why this is a special bag.
That's going to wrap up this Week 6 edition of Hartford Colonials Kickoff. Thanks to the head coach and general manager, Chris Palmer, also Franz Joseph for giving us a few minutes, and our friends at the Connecticut Children's Medical Center. Of course, if you're looking for information on the Colonials, want to know where to get tickets, visit the web, hartfordcolonials.com. I'm Jason Page. We'll see you next week on Hartford Colonials Kickoff.